couple of other bits. Just want to touch on the January transfer window, which I think is it's Thursday night at 11 o'clock. The transfer window closes. Bit of news this week, Glen. One which was a bit disappointing, I think, was Kamari Doyle, who's transferred to Brighton, an academy product, 18 years old. I think it was 2 senior appearances that he made. Obviously a regular for the under 21s, but not able to get enough first team football here. So goes to Brighton. And
yeah,
you kind of read that and you're like, that's just a load of nonsense, right? But we wish him well.
Well, as I frequently said, when players leave, they're dead to me, basically. So I don't really care how he does, to be honest. Yeah, it's game time assurances. I read. I mean, no club, and certainly Brighton, are not going to be saying, "Oh, well, we'll guarantee you 20 games before the end of the season." It's just utter rubbish. So I don't know when he thought he was going to play exactly, because he's been injured since September. So he's basically only had probably about 3 weeks of Russell Martin's time here. So is he talking about playing under Ruben Sellers in that car crash at the tail end of last season? I don't know. Basically, his reasoning doesn't really matter. He wants to go. He's made up his mind. He wants to go. See you later. We've got apparently a decent fee out of it. When I've seen him play, I saw him because he played at Brighton last season, and I assume it was the Rotherham game he played, not Rotherham, Gillingham game he played at the start of this season. And I've seen him play one age group game. And to be honest, he looked a million miles away from being ready for sort of first team football. He looked very lightweight. So whether there's advisors in his ear, or whether he's been tapped up, whatever, it doesn't really matter. He's gone. It sounds very similar to the Jimmy J Morgan one. In that, I mean, what did Jimmy J Morgan say? He thought he'd get more first team football at Chelsea, which is just hilarious. I mean, it's slightly less hilarious than that one, but it's. I mean, I'd say he decided a while ago that he wanted to go. It's disappointing when you've. I don't know how long he's been at the club. I think it's quite a long time. It's disappointing when people want to go. But there you go. We just got to shrug our shoulders and get on with it. Would it have made any difference if we were still in the Premier League? It might have done, but then the way things are going, we could well be back in the Premier League in 3 or 4 months. So I'm not really having that as an excuse either. You just you wait and see what happens if that's what you want to do. But bottom line is, he wants to go. See you later. All the best. And I'd rather focus on Tyler Dibbling, Sam Ammo, and Jaden Magoma, who clearly at this moment in time want to be here.
Steve, another couple of names that have been linked this week. The guy from Coventry, is it Calamo Hare? The winger. You're not convinced about that one, though, are you?
It just feels like there's a bit of 2 and 2 = 5 going on, because I think he's out of contract in the summer. And obviously we're in the hunt for going up, and you would think that he's probably got his eye on a Premier League move. So taking a sideways step for, well, maybe half a step up in terms of going from 6th to 3rd, is potentially a good career move for him. But it just doesn't feel right. I mean, the talk is 15 million quid. The guy's got 6 months left on his contract. Do we have 15 million quid to spend within the current financial fair play restrictions? Yeah. Given everything that's been said over the last 6 to 8 months in terms of how the sales in the summer were basically rectifying the god-awful mistakes of the year before, but also that we needed to make those sales in order to free up some money to then bring in the players that we need, and yet we're kind of on the edge of that boundary, I think. So dropping 15 million quid in January doesn't seem like remotely what we're likely to do for a guy who, he looks very good in that Coventry team, but it's a Coventry team that is set up basically around the way that he plays, and I don't think for all the world that we're going to change the way that we play to fit to accommodate him. And he's also unproven at the level above. I mean, I know that that's kind of our USP in the past has always been, well, we'll give you the opportunity that a lot of other clubs won't. But I mean, certainly in terms of this week, I'd be absolutely amazed if we dropped that sort of money on anybody.
Yeah. Alfie, who is heading back from Watford as we speak, asked Russell Martin what supporters can expect ahead of the deadline next week, and he says, this is the quote, he said, "I hope that we add one more player to the squad and that we don't lose any of ours. We're going to have to wait and see. It's the hope that kills you." Eleanor, just final word on the transfer window. It closes, as I said, I think 11 o'clock on Thursday. What would you like to see? Is there somebody you like to see come in, or is it more about who we can keep hold of?
I don't know if it's just because it's January, but I have zero ideas for specific players that I'd want. But I think, like I said, just someone that's like a goal scorer but hangs around in the box really. But I know we've got links with, I can't remember his name, the Burnley winger.
Oh, Benson.
Yeah, and I feel really like silly. I don't really know anything about him, despite actually watching a few Burnley games. So. Yeah, if he's good, then it'd be good.
He doesn't play, that's why.
Oh, there you go. So that's not good.
Do you think for us though, it's more about who we can keep hold of, and if we can get to 11 o'clock and Carl Walker-Peters is still here, then that's a win.
Oh yeah. No, I mean I would have preferred Teller to have stayed really than to have gone for this guy, but it is what it is. I mean I don't really want Walker-Peters to leave or anyone like that to leave. That would just be awful, and then I don't know what we do with that position anyway. So. Yeah, I hope more than anything that we don't have any problems really. I mean, I think I'm not massively bothered about Shea Adams because it's just so, I get so fed up with Shea Adams, like with how inconsistent he is. And then obviously when the transfer window's open, he seems to be more consistent. But yeah, apart from that, I don't really want anyone to leave really. So.
A nice quiet evening is, I think, is what we're all kind of hoping for. That's what we're saying.